Welcome back to For the Record. Jed Donahue with you. We have Ned Book and Sarah Parks. They're counselors with SCORE, a nonprofit organization. It's a national organization, and they specialize in small business counseling. And to be honest, after we've just listened to that first segment, helping with business development, to be honest. How to really start your own business. It's this particular handbook that's in front of me right now. Sarah, I'll start with you. It's all about how do I get financed, right? I was asking you the most asked question going in.
Absolutely. I would expect that 90% of the clients that I've worked with, the first question that they want to know is, how are we going to get the money to do this? The second question they'll ask us is can we get a small business administration loan? And they think that's an automatic because they're getting into a small business, and it's not. You know, it's a guaranteed at one of our local banks, guaranteed program at one of our local banks.
Yeah, and you were just mentioning to me off air too. I'm sorry, Sarah. But the credit score.
Oh, yeah.
Have your credit in order.
Yeah.
You know, it's great to have great ideas and all of that sort of thing.
But your house has to be in order.
Right.
You know, we've had clients come in and, exactly, come in and say, well, we'd like to get a loan, and before, you know, we say, well, we're not the bankers, but let's talk a little bit, and we say, how's your credit been? Well, it's not so good. I had my car repossessed 3 years ago. So that's very painful, and they've got to get their house cleaned up probably for 7-8 years before a bank will even talk to them.
Right.
So, well, let me take it one step further, because this handbook is fabulous, by the way. And,
yeah, it is.
And everybody, you're looking at various information on screen as to, you know, how you can contact SCORE and things like that. All right, let's say the money's all pretty much in play. Sarah, what are some of the other things? Like, you're counseling people, and, you know, maybe they've worked their whole life and they want to get into business and things. What are some of the things you would say?
Well,
to that
we
person?
Probably don't say as much as we ask a series of questions. Because one of the things that we try not to do is to tell people you should be in the business or not in the business, but we help them to think through a process. And we always ask them what their dream is. What is the vision, you know, of a business? Who are your target audiences? Who's going to buy the product that you think you've got available to sell? How are you going to structure your business? You know, are you going to be a sole proprietorship? Are you going to become a limited liability corporation? Are you a partnership? And if it's a partnership, what are the strengths that you bring to each bring to the table?
And then, you know, demographics, competition. Actually, what is the product? Is it going to be viable depending on what market they're going to open the business? Is that something you got to look at now?
The bottom line here, it's called a business plan. If you don't have a business plan, the bank isn't going to talk to you.
Right.
So we try to help the people put the business plan together, but the key is we don't write the business plan, you write the business plan, because it's your idea, it's your dream, it's what you want to happen. Only you can do that. You can't go out and buy a cookie cutter business plan off the shelf somewhere and then fill in the blanks and think you're going to get the right answer. You're not. You have to love this business idea. You have to be willing to say, okay, I'm going to work 24/7 till I get this business up and running.
Right. Well, and I see where your organization comes in. Let's use a baker as an example. This gal or guy can cook like crazy, but you know, I cook. I don't put a business plan together. I know how to make this stuff that's going to be popular. What do you do with somebody like that?
That's actually a very good example, because Ned and I both get a lot of bakers and cooks, and anybody who thinks that they know how to cook automatically thinks that they can be successful in business. And we probably would give them this publication and at least have them read through it before they come back the next time, so that we can work with them and help them. And then we get the people who think that they can cook in their own kitchens and can translate those skills into a restaurant or a food business. And we probably recommend that they go to the local restaurant and get some restaurant experience before they even attempt to tangle with all of the business plan that they're going to have to
Restaurants are probably the #1 business that people want to go into, okay? The first question we ask is, have you ever worked in a restaurant? And 90% of the people haven't. So we say, go get a job in a restaurant and then come back and talk to us in 6 months. I've never had anyone come back.
maybe
Yeah,
that-
not when they see the margins and things
Oh,
and how
yeah.
tough that is. That's a tough business
It's a
there,
very
just
tough
as an
business.
example.
Very
right?
tough business.
Yeah, but and that was just an example that we gave right there. But
Right.
you know, writing the correct business plan, you're there to help, and there's a format in here. Maybe the questions that you're going to need. What's the biggest question that would need answer putting a business plan together that would have a successful conclusion?
Well,
Maybe.
arithmetically, it has to come out. It's amazing how many people understand profit and loss and don't understand cash flow. There are so many businesses that go under because they run out of cash. They think, oh, fine, we've made a profit, but then they forgot we have this loan. Well, the loan repayment is not a profit and loss item. It's below the line item. And so you have to have enough cash to pay your loan off. And these are the kinds of things that the amateur that hasn't been in business and doesn't understand gets all emotionally tied up with these things, and then they can't understand why it isn't going to work.
Well, and Sarah, you know, with the economy, you know, say the jobless rate being what it is, the alternative is, well, I can't get a job, I got to go start my own deal. I mean, we're seeing that not just here in Pennsylvania, but this is going on nationally as well. Go ahead, and that's a dynamic, more now than maybe we've seen about 15, 20 years.
Absolutely. Actually, National Score did a Gallup study, and they showed that about 30% of the people who are interested in starting their own business are unemployed. And they think this is an answer to the employment question. And it is in some cases. It really depends on how viable the idea is that the individual wants to pursue. We also know that after people have gone through appropriate SCORE counseling, that a very high percentage of those individuals are successful in business.
Yeah, 20 seconds or less, dovetail off of that. That's, you know.
I was just going to say, in the business plan, one of the real keystone elements is marketing.
Right.
Who are your customers? How are you going to get those customers?
Right.
What's your competition doing? All these aspects have to be dealt with before anybody's going to give you a nickel. You have to be able to make it work.
All right, we'll be back with more on For the Record after this.